Ha! Those were my shoes. Ha! Ha! Oh, I got you guys good. I always get you guys really good. Welcome to Shyzalosophy 101. Yeah, we love that part. It's great to be alive, right? Yeah, we love that. Here's your host, Shyzabox. Oh, is the show starting? Oh, it must be. We hear our introduction. Oh, giddy up, girl. Hurry up. We got to get to work. Hurry up. Oh, everybody loves us. Oh, thank you, everybody. What a nice, terrific welcoming. Oh, my gosh. Oh, wow. Get out of here. And the horse. You wrote in on. Excellent. Getting set up, right? Sometimes it's like, you should already be set up before you start, right? Well, I mean, I guess that would be work. All right? Believe you me, there's one thing that we probably don't need to do. It's work any more than we already don't. I'm not be saying that, well, if you're going to come with the show, you better come with the goods, right? Well, that's where you're mistaken bacon. Sorry about that. You know, when we called Daryl Dixon dibs on being best of the worst internet celebrities there is, inherently, it's going to suck, right? But our personal guarantee to you is that no matter what, everything else you watch inherently is going to be far better, okay? It's our personal promise, our personal guarantee, and believe you me, with how things are on today's enter of the nets and zones, we know how crazy it can get. That's why we venture into that of the philosophical endeavors for that of philosophical entertainment. Okay? Now, believe you me, as we sit and venture into the grand scope of what the show entails today, and where we'll be adventuring and things of that nature, and proceeding to go forth and forward therewith, okay? Today we are talking about that of good old-fashioned, I guess, data collection versus knowledge. That's right. Sounds like a crappy show, but keep in mind, it's free. You don't have to like the show. You don't even have to watch it. You can do whatever you feel like. No one else is streaming now. Well, I want to mess with you. That's fine. I love being messed with. Got nothing else going on. Believe you me, today we found ourselves beginning with being a little irked, okay? Being a little perturbed, a little frustrated, if you will. Oh, no surprise, right? It came to our attention, all right, that not only, all right, everyone knows data collection is the thing. Everyone knows, everyone wants your data. Everyone knows, give us your data, this, that, the other. Companies selling it. Do these techniques that you follow on the tiki-taki or the instant of the gram with how to remove yourself from said or such data collections, right? Everyone's seen those videos. Everyone knows that it's going on. Well, there's a difference between data collection and knowledge, because some of these big companies and these big corporations and entities or entities, corporations, companies of all sizes fail to understand kind of what they're doing, right? Now, keep in mind this is all for philosophical entertainment, and that of anything that you might see and or hear here is inadvertently of the nature pertaining to that of a philosophical contemplation, okay? Box checked, right? All right, everything here's for philosophical entertainment, all right? You got these big companies and these big corporations that maintain their data collecting practices, okay? These dudes already, hands down, have so much data, they couldn't process that shit if they hired and built an entire new data center to do it, okay? Because most of them are probably stupid, okay? Now, theoretically, now we're not saying we're smart. We're the best of the worst internet celebrity there is. We're the bottom of the pile. Everyone gets to walk all over us, okay? Yourself included. Yourself included. Okay, comes with the territory. We understand that, okay? We wear our heart on our sleeve. Everything about us must be auditable, okay? All the philosophical endeavors and contemplations and things of that nature must be completely open source, and that's why we make it as such. That's why our theological views, our religious beliefs, our mathematical and computational things are all open and freely given, okay? You go to the IPFS site, you can go to any of the, Pinata links, you can go to the Kaggle notebooks, audit the hell out of us, go to town. We don't hide behind our math. We don't hide behind our science. We don't hide behind our views. We don't hide behind our beliefs, okay? Everyone is of their own historian. Everyone is of their own philosophy, okay? Whether they practice it, whether they believe it inherently or not, okay? Everyone is responsible for witnessing that of what they witness all by themselves, okay? I can't put anything else in your eyes that you don't put already there within, okay? Now you might be saying, like this show, right? Exactly, like this show. Now, we might be affording the opportunity for you to, with your eyes and or ears, witness that of what is going on. You might even say, I can smell you through here. You must not have bathed yesterday, okay? Believe you me. Stop saying stuff like that. Mom, there's people watching. Doesn't matter inherently, even if you can smell through that of which, okay? You have the capabilities and the capacity within the confines of how the metaphysical world works. You can disconnect, you can disassociate, you can downvote the shit out of it. Hey, we don't care. We don't chase votes, we don't chase subscripifications. Speaking of which, in the last marketing meeting, they were trying to think of how to increase subscripifications, and they blew our entire marketing budget on what you see on interstates and things of that nature. It's ridiculous. These dumb bastards, instead of giving us a raise by, paying us anything at all, that wasn't a joke. They blew our budget on a wacky waving inflatable flailing arm guy. Now you might be saying, how many books did you sell for that? I don't know. We probably sold 6, 7 books, maybe. I think it was $10. We get like $1 a book. Don't buy the physical copy of Delectable, okay? Any of the other ones, fine. Or at least not a lot of you buy it. Only a few people can buy the physical copy, okay? Otherwise, we argue against it. Needless to say, all right. You have these companies that go and they're collecting datas. They've got, all of these big meetings and stuff that they harbor and, say, how are we going to get more people's datas and things of that nature, right? Now, people are sitting in meetings trying to, think of which. Meanwhile, they have all of this data already collected. They don't know what the hell to do with, and even if they attempt and try, they're probably going to misconstrue, misread it, misapportion it, misappropriate it, misinterpret it, and or deductively, reasonably have a bunch of meetings pertaining to that offshoot of just dumbassery, right? Now, again, this is all theoretical, okay? This is all for philosophical entertainment. We aren't sitting on these boardroom meetings and things of that nature, wherein upon we wake up today and we end up coming across the information that Netflix, okay, of all entities, okay, Netflix, we don't want to necessarily pick on them, but they get a hashtag in the descripification title thing. Netflix has gone above and beyond that of mere, hey, we like to collect and probably sell data, theoretically, we don't know. But we like it so much that we want to do it fucking again. Okay? You can't make this shit up. Netflix has now enacted and instilled a requirement to an extent to where it necessitates any sub-account off of a main account to list a fucking email address and a goddamn login. Okay? Now, this irks the shit out of us. It made us swear. That's right. We don't like to do that. Yes, hello and hi. Who's that? Erica? Hey, Erica. Netflix's stupid heads. These dumb bastards, they're requiring you now to create and or maintain and or have an additional email account with which they can collect, okay? Additional data, additional sources, additional things with which they can sell. They even have a blanketed terms and conditions for you to check out after you're forced with which to sign up a new email address and or in the email address for these accounts to maintain and have access, okay? That's right, for easier reaccessibility of your account, for easier login. No, it's fucking bullshit. Okay, it's more damn data, more damn data, more damn data, more damn data, and it's Netflix leading the charge this time with some bullshit. Believe you me, I think they've irked people in the past, but now we're super irked at these dudes because it's fucking bullshit. Hello and hi. Who's that? Cinema? Welcome, Cinema. We're bitching about Netflix now. It's magical. Just remember inherently, everything's fine. Oh, what was that? Oh, yeah. So we're complaining about Netflix, okay? Now, Netflix, the entities, now this is all theoretical, but check for yourself. The entity that no longer really produces that of what you would call original content, okay? No, well, now, sure. They do, in the terms and means of small teams they probably underpay to shit out all of these anime cartoons for them. Okay? Because they know there's a popularity there. Otherwise, Netflix is copy and pasting content from region to region in order to just make it look like they have shit going on. Okay? They haven't had a Orange is the New Black hit in quite some time that we're aware of. Now, we could be mistaken bacon on that, and maybe perhaps they have had something that has just resonated with everyone to the degree and capacity that Netflix has made it into the mainstream, talk and topic and conversation with which we haven't fucking heard it. Okay? So, whether that is the case or not, the mere fact that these dudes who already collect and harbor and maintain data, whether they utilize it properly or not, whether they store it or, maintain it and or sell it off, theoretically, either one. Say they don't sell it, say they do. It doesn't matter. They're collecting more and more of it for the extent and purpose as to what? Well, for the intent and purpose as to try and line their pockets more. Not only that, but the additional requirement now on sub-affiliated accounts, a lot of times it's parents with their kids, or it's, a household or something like that, and the dynamics of just merely collecting more and more email addresses, more and more names, more and more data, and then having a separate term for it. Fuck you, Netflix, okay? Metaphysically, all right? It's fucking bullshit, okay? These companies already have data collection, and now here comes Netflix wanting yet to take a new take on data collection by collecting yet even more data. We're telling you, all of these data centers that are popping up, which, hey, mind you me, keep in mind, this is all for philosophical entertainment, all right? They're beginning to change the names of data centers, okay? Now, again, it's because as the term data center becomes popular as to the affordings that it presents or does, this, that, the other, okay? That's right. As the term data center becomes more popular, more, practiced, preached, talked about, okay? The companies wise up and realize people don't want them because of reasons X, Y, or Z, whether it is a noise, whether it is an environmental reason, whether it is this, that, the other that is talked about in these meetings that pop up overnight, that happened nights ago, that no one hears about, that popped up weeks ago. It's funny how it happens, okay? These fly-by-night operations that are able to implement and instill that of which fucks over everyone else. Okay? Shyzabox says no. Shyzabox says enough. Shyzabox says Olympic logic reigns supreme. All that other stuff's dumb. Okay? Now, obviously, that and the, kind of vernacular usages of our venom within that of the language we speak and the usages of profanity and things of that nature, we use to merely showcase and highlight to the degree of frustration that we are trying to vent and or express with our dissatisfaction with Netflix, yet additionally requiring more and more information. Hello and hi. Who's that? RD? Hey, RD. How you doing today? We woke up today and saw Netflix wants additional email addresses, names, and all sorts of stuff to access account information, okay? That's right. Pissed us right off, okay? So we've even sworn a few times this morning, okay? Well, don't celebrate that, internet. We feel bad for it. Netflix is requiring more and more information. Now they need sub-account email addresses, names, and stuff like that. It's a mere additional form of data collection that they are going to now have additional accounts on that they can additionally, theoretically, sell or not. On top of that, obviously, you start looking at all this stuff like the, businesses that are moving to these geometric, kind of geo-service pricing models and things of that nature, to where you have digital prices that'll ring up according to whatever that of your mobile device, your phone, your digital carrier says that you are worth. You'll have two people, okay, you want another good example of good old how great Shyzabox's vernacular usages are thereof? I doubt it. Okay, we're going to give you one anyway. It's the equivalent of, all right, now keep in mind, our book Delectable, okay, this is our monographing of lectin, advanced metaphilosophy, whatever. Don't buy the physical copy of this, okay? It is $250, but because our living philosophy is so, fantastically living, this dead book became a living entity, okay? How, you may say, does a dead book become a living entity? Well, it prices itself into affordable existence, okay? What does that mean? Well, it means we broke Amazon.com's pricing algorithm, okay? And this book, not us, this book made itself 94% off, okay? Not us. This book, okay? It's a living book. It's a dead tree, obviously. Hello? It's not talking to you, okay? Might be speaking to you, but it's not talking to you. Eastern philosophy's crazy. What? You literally have, all right, an entity like this book, all right? That's the exact same usages they're with. Netflix is obtaining and collecting all this additional information, all right? You have all of these third-party entities, all right, that are taking this information. So you have us. We wrote Delectable, okay? We made it $250, okay? No one's buying that. That's fine. No one should buy the physical copy of this book, okay? It's Wheeler's It by Bit. Bit is free. It costs $250. Don't buy it, okay? It's thermodynamic enlightenment at a price tag, all right? Because Shyzabox is pretty effing awesome. The book literally priced itself into existence to trick people to buy it. Do not buy the physical copy of this book, okay? It broke Amazon.com's pricing algorithm. Now, the problem is that you have these third-party entities, okay? So Netflix collects additional data. They get additional emails. They get additional names. They get additional data about shows, interests, what your likes are, viewing habits, times of day, times of night, okay? There's more to these methodologies than people probably realize. It is a recording entirely of that of one's utmost being and, in essence, personal space and time they're out of what is the world stage, okay? Now, believe you me, the constant stage of the world is always upon that of one's eyes, is it not? Okay? Well, it absolutely is. But you have these third-party entities that are now going to acquire this additional data, such as these ones that relist and resell our books that we wrote for their benefit and their gain. Okay, now, here's where it gets really messed up for the consumer, okay? This book, as it sits, Delectable, all right, is a proven working theory, okay? On top of that, we must now, as the author, okay, as a philosopher, necessitate an argument to tell people literally not to buy the physical copy thereof, okay? It breaks our heart. We're the author. Everyone wants to see one of their books climb to a New York Times bestseller. They might not say it out loud. They might not practice it. They might not preach it, okay? But inherently, deep down, people want an iota or mediocrity of success, right? That's why we call Daryl Dixon dibs on being best of the worst. We know we're not going to compete with the top, okay? But we can definitely hold our own on the bottom. Everything else is better. See? How fantastic. Point is that you have these third-party entities that acquire this data, and then they'll raise the price. They'll geo-price you exactly out of your wallet. You go into a business to buy this, all right, and they charge you the full $250, okay? Don't buy it. It is free. Go to Kindle Unlimited, get a free trial for, a bit. Maybe you like it. Maybe you, pick up and adhere to it, okay? You can get it for free. Don't buy it. These third-party companies are picking up, just like other third-party entities pick up our literary works and repost them, and they're jacking up the price 2 times, 3 times, 4 times over. You might be thinking that you're sticking it to Jeff Bezos by not going to Amazon. You might be thinking that you're sticking it to big box retailer Books A Million by not going to Books A Million, okay? But you go to these other third-party entity sellers and things of that nature, and you got relisters, people like that are merely copying and pasting data that already exists, is already free, is already in a better iteration or freer version thereof. And they're raising, quadrupling the price for you, okay? This book priced itself off 94%, okay? The third-party sellers that go through, all right, and copy-paste are not going to maintain that of any differentiations in that of pricing metrics, tactics, and or marketing techniques, okay? You're going to get shafted in that of your wallet, and more so that of your ego probably inherently, when you realize that you got overcharged for what even didn't inherently go towards the source you were maybe even trying to support or look out for. You can't make it up. Netflix collecting more email addresses, more names on sub-accounts under a main account is the exact same thing as third-party sellers going and reacquiring something they're not even selling for themselves. They don't even have the product. Okay? And they're doubling the price, they're tripling the price, they're doubling down on that of their metrics, their methodologies, and this, that, and the other, and they're shafting that of the consumer, okay? That irks us to such a degree that we utilize that of a vernacular vitriol and venom within that of our linguistical means and capabilities to strictly say, fuck you, Netflix, okay? There's no way around it. Welcome to the inter of the nets, okay? That's what they get, because, for real, Netflix, you done made us very irate. Let's try and collect ourselves. Let's sip some swill. Let us gripe further on their collectings. Netflix obtaining more data, obtaining more email addresses on sub-accounts, requiring that to even access them, all right, or to continue watching that of shows, is so irksome as an additional metric for having an additional account that is a viable selling account and or a completely other entity with which may not have an accounting thereof that as of yet. That's right. They're pre-peopling people before the people are peopled in themselves. And now doing it from a capacity, a standpoint, and a degree far earlier within one's life cycle, one's lifetime, to where they're going to have a complete package deal on that of one's entire psyche before one's entire psyche is even of constructed, okay? These companies, like Netflix now, collecting additional email addresses on sub-accounts and things of that nature and claiming it's for ease to log in and everything like that, is effing bullshit, okay? Straight up middle finger to Netflix on this one, all right? Them taking and wanting to acquire additional data points and additional entities with which to not only familiarize their content therewith and try and play in that of probably the metaphysical and AI environment that they don't understand. Most people do not. You may say even ourselves, we do not. That's fine. Say and think and do that of what you will. We make AI our bitch, okay? That's because Shyzabox is the good old-fashioned vernacular master. Bold claim on the internet, Cotton. How you gonna back it up? Well, how about with all of our working theory and programs and things of that nature, knock yourself out, audit the shit out of us, okay? We're not under an NDA. We don't work for a big company. We can shoot off at the mouth all day. You're not going to report us to HR because up yours, Netflix, okay? You're collecting additional data, and we theorize, okay, theoretically, all for philosophical entertainment. Therein lies your buffer, Netflix. For philosophical entertainment, up yours, Netflix, on the additional collecting of additional data, which is verifiably proven, as we have witnessed it, that of ourselves, okay? Up yours, Netflix, for collecting additional data with the realm and capacity and means to theoretically sell that data off again. That's right. And or at the very least, maintain a beginning entire data entity collection on that of additional entities and data points that were previously unknown, undiscovered, and uncollected. Okay? Netflix is hitting these accounts, and I'm telling you, they are sub-accounts that are kids, that are dependents, that are things like that, younger entities, and Netflix is now getting their names, they're getting their data, they're getting their emails, they're getting their information, their viewing habits, their times of day, their times of night, their habits on all points, and that information is going to be inherently a treasure trove because it is not just a data collection on entities that are post Facebook, post MySpace, post anything like that, all right? Any one of those are far more valuable than anything previously thereof. If you have boomers, if you have entities that never partook in MySpace, never partook in Facebook, and or to not the degree that other people do, then these data collections are incomplete data set points, okay? But with Netflix collecting now data points from, theoretically, younger users, okay, earlier and earlier on, they're getting those viewing habits of these dependents, of these subs that are, on a, main channel. So you got Netflix, you got the owner of the account, and they give their, capabilities for their kids to watch Bluey. Bluey's on Disney, asshole, whatever. They watch insert whatever show Netflix doesn't make and port over from one of their other regions now. Maybe their kids want to watch The Tick, which is a fantastic show, which guess what? Amazon made. Okay? Netflix makes so not any original content aside from their small teams that they pay to do cartoons. There's nothing wrong with that. Cartoons are great. Some of them are awesome. But they can't afford anymore to make any of the big budget pictures or shows or anything like that because what they've been making sucks ass. So they got to collect more data and sell more shit so that they can keep porting their methodologies and have a broken system. It irks us to no end, all right, at the inability for people to logically utilize any kind of free will thinking to know that computationally, when there is some form, iteration, or version of theory and or proof given and said, hey, audit this, that can computationally alleviate to such a stressful degree the thermodynamic cost of computational limits and bounds, you can go beyond isomorphism, you can go beyond Landauer, you can go beyond all these metrics and utilize a closed Gödelian loop system that has vector equilibrium within that of a cubooctahedron. What is so hard to understand about that shit? You think cosmological philosophy would be just understood by everyone. But no, you have these assholes like Netflix who have a jacked up model that's broken, theoretically. Let's see if it's broken. What's their newest shows? The Tick from Amazon. And what do we say? A fucking cartoon from a small base team. You can't make this up. Lithic logic reigns supreme. Up your Shyzabox. What? Nah, fine. We might get a little unhinged, we might get a little crazy, we might get a little berserk. But remember, everything's fine. Huh? What was that? Yeah, Netflix. Yeah, so they're collecting this additional data. And they do that of which is within the realms and scope of whatever they feel like with it, okay? It's an additional account. It's an additional entity that is accounting for that accounted for now. It's another data point. It's another point of sale in the system of point of sales, okay? And it's for the mere capabilities and capacity of, Netflix to make more money to go towards their broken system, okay? Theoretically, all for philosophical entertainment, okay? These opinions of how these metrics work are that of our own. The mere fact that a company requires an additional email address and name and point of contact for a sub-account under an account that they already have a name, an email address, a point of contact, therefore, yeah, we're the one who's fucking crazy, right? Well, screw you, Netflix. This shit pisses us off beyond no ends because you already have the data, you already have the entities. All right, your mere collection is a blatant slap in the face. That's the difference between data and knowledge. Netflix don't know shit, okay? Theoretically, for philosophical entertainment. Their additional now requirements of more email addresses and more information shows you exactly what the people that we at least know, talk to, see in, interviews, disseminations thereof. It's what the people do not want. Why would we want to willingly give Netflix additional subordinates, email names, email accounts, email addresses, so that they can maintain an entire structure on another entity's viewing habits, viewing pleasures, viewing choices, viewing metrics, viewing times of days, times of nights, all aspects and components? Up yours, Netflix, okay? You don't need that shit. It is a blatant slap in the face to the consumers, and everyone's saying that we need less data centers, we need less data collection, and we need a complete removal of many of these practices that are inherently just to make a buck. Okay? These companies, these entities, they utilize these scales of judgment and guidance of that of monetary value and realize not the difference between data and knowledge is that money is a construct. Okay? At the end of the day, that of the finances, that of the cash, that of the liquidatable assets, okay, it's all constructs. Same way that Netflix has constructed a way to get more digital data from people. They've sat in meetings, theoretically, and said, hey, how can we make more money? And their first thing wasn't make good content, create a way for people to subscribe. Their first fucking idea is to get more data collection, to get more email addresses. Hey, we have everyone's email addresses from the first sub account here. Why don't we get all of the other email addresses and names for anyone else that's on them? Then we can package, market, maybe even sell that data, theoretically. We don't know. All right, Netflix has these meetings, theoretically, then to do this bullshit, okay? Instead of focusing on making better content and providing better services to their users, okay? They come up with bullshit ways and pay some people to develop an implementation for it within their coding, all right? You can't make this shit up. Now they want additional emails, additional names, all right, for subs on the account, and it makes no damn sense except for the logical thinking that they are using this data to sell this point, okay? We're telling you, man, it's Wheeler, okay? It by bit. Bit is free. If it costs $250, don't buy it. So that's what we woke up today, all right, seeing Netflix acquiring more information from, that of entities that we know, affiliate ourselves with, and desire to utilize that of Netflix services, okay? Merely wanting more data, okay? Why it's the same thing as when they probably want to send a follow-up survey, how was your giving us more data experience? It'll only take 5 minutes, and it really helps us out. Well, you know what? Shyzabox loves to help out the world. Shyzabox loves to help out humanity. You know who we're not helping out anymore? Assholes. Okay? These companies, these entities that want to utilize technologies for that of disservice to that of the general public, up theirs. Okay? It's not just Netflix, theoretically. All for philosophical entertainment. All right? Up there's to any company that is utilizing these tactics, that is misbalancing and using scales of financial judgment and means and endeavors with which to get one over that of their brethren, okay? They will elicit no, place in our thought, all right, for their entities' existence in the realm of business, okay? These companies, these businesses that are wanting more data like Netflix, okay, that are finding ways to, instead of make new programming and new shows, make new ways to collect new data on new people. You can't make this shit up, man. Inherently, it's when people overstep the realms and bounds of their data sets and their knowledge sets, okay, and venture into that of what they shouldn't be venturing into. Okay, now we're not saying we probably shouldn't venture into half the shit that we do as well. Okay? Good old Shyzabox can be good old wrong the same way any business and their practices can as well. Okay? Shyzabox is not perfect. Shyzabox is that of limited, beholden to that of man. Okay? That being the case, when we may be beholden to that of man, when we utilize that of lithic logic and understanding to know that that of man is trying to lord something else over that of their brethren, okay, gets under our skin, makes us say some bad words, okay? Believe you me, there's one thing that we are trying to work on for a good while. It's trying to tone down the profanity, okay? Now, there are those points in times that it might be necessitated, that it might be, of utmost reasoning to utilize such, okay? But we do realize, right, that we still got some ways to go, okay? That's fine. Everyone needs to work on stuff at their own pace, and maybe Netflix just needs a little bit of pace to work on to where they need to get back to content and not to data, okay? We're just saying, they seem to be doing a hell of a lot of porting and a hell of a lot of collecting and not a hell of a lot of videoing or movieing, okay? If they want some movies or videos, hell, Netflix, you want some scripts? We'll give you some scripts. In fact, what has Netflix picked up now? In fact, a lot of the little shows have. They've picked up fucking podcasts. You can't make this up. Not only is Netflix not producing their own content, but the content that they are putting onto their platform has already been produced by the people who produced it. They're a reseller at this point. Netflix is a complete reseller that makes cartoon animes on occasion. Theoretically. You can't make this shit up, man. The Tick is out, their new cartoon anime is out, and podcasts are out. On top of that, even their studios that do exist, that they're making the content that is mediocre with, some of their, little cartoon studios, things like that, they're utilizing the techniques and tactics of weekly droppages and things of that nature to where their first modeling system around Netflix, having an entire season available to binge watch, is completely thrown out the window as well. The hell are they doing? Right? It's the difference between data, and knowing all there's data's out there, trying to collect it, and not utilizing it to create knowledge with. Okay? Lithic logic reigns supreme, and that of a ability or tendency or capability to utilize what is a foundational understanding needs to be implemented in, theoretically, many of these businesses and companies, okay? Exactly, man. You know what? You want someone like Shyzabox to go through and clean house at Netflix? Theoretically, we'd probably turn them around into, one of the top streaming entities in no time. Okay? Now, that's bold claim, Cotton. How could you make such a statement? Okay? Well, it's because we're not under an NDA and we don't work for a big company. We know we got time on our hands that we can do it. Okay? Netflix want to pull up with a briefcase full of cash and a tricked-out Tesla sign-on bonus? Same way SpaceX, anyone else could. Okay? We sell out in a heartbeat. By sell out, of course, SLC punk terminology, we buy in. As long as it's not a BS metric and there is some, room in there to try and do some good for the betterment of man, Shyzabox is on board, okay? We lord not and harbor not any of that of what we can at least attempt to do. We might not be perfect at doing it. We might not even be good at doing it. We call Daryl Dixon Dibs at being best of the worst. You'll get an iteration of that shit done. You just might not appreciate it, okay? That's why you just have to accept how it goes. But if there's one thing that we could definitely know, it's that since Netflix has not pulled up with a briefcase full of cash and a tricked out Tesla sign-on bonus or something, whatever, I don't know. Theoretically, metaphysically, whatever. Netflix is doing a disservice to themselves, all right, by doing these additional data collecting methods, all right? They're irking their more remaining customers. They're irking those of anyone who's going to speak out about it. Okay? We don't like that collection practices they're in. Even if one person, hi Mom, sees this video, putting it in someone's heads that, hey, Netflix is wanting more of your data, more of your, affiliates, more of your dependents, more of any component of an account's data set, so that there is a additional entity to account for, an additional point to be sold, to be collected, to be interpreted, to be misinterpreted, to be understood, to be misunderstood. Having it in general come across, having it do that of what it, does in nature, all right? Its mere creation is a slap in the face to that of anyone who, is a member of society who does not like that of another member in society, whether it's a business, a company, a corporation, or another individual single entity, doesn't like them utilizing a means and metrics and ways to try and obtain a betterment and or a controlling over another entity, even if that's not the designed intent or known to be outcome thereof. Okay? There's still a inadmissibility and a reasoning behind why it should not be done in the first place, all right? Enough to placate our reasoning to know that when we see that it is done and or implemented to any degree, iteration, iota thereof, it irks the shit out of us. Okay? So we'll stop picking on Netflix. Up yours, Netflix, one last time. Okay, that's right. Metaphysically, you better remove that shit. Okay, we know you won't. You don't care what Shyzabox says. Many a folk do not. That's fine. As Netflix continues to do the collecting of that of what they do, and everyone continues to do that of theirs, then the system will inadvertently and admittedly remain broken. That's right. You want a broken system? It's what we live in now. A hard stop and a pivot necessitates be made. Okay, you either buy into the theory and thought and practice that in a closed Gödelian loop you can account for some pretty messed up accountings and that of others. Okay, in fragmented loops, in fragmented segments. All right, there's quite the difference when you operate in a closed Gödelian loop versus when you're operating in a fragmented, whatever the hell it is, right? You're talking about a difference between Halo and a destroyed Halo, right? That's right, bringing in Master Chief. There's quite the difference. If you got a closed Gödelian loop, obviously, you're eventually going to come back to the case in point, okay? Lithic logic reigns supreme, truth shall out, the next ripple shall correspond on the topography necessitated therewith, okay? Once one understands this, they shall truly understand this, okay? That of its dissipation, that of its decay, that of the, thermodynamic cost therein is of, in essence, relevance only when it's of irrelevantly relevant. When one begins to contemplate the additional means, metrics, avenues, and abilities for that of what is metaphysically plausible and possible, all right, within the capabilities of companies, businesses, entities, and things of that nature, it's very frustrating to see a complete misuse of energies, a misabuse of, desired outcome and or thought of achievement, okay? These companies that come up with these ideas to obtain more data points, to collect more things with which could be modeled on an entity to be sold later or not sold later, theoretically. They base all of this stuff there on it with the, desire of patting themselves on the back for a job well done, doing a job that they, yes, did, but the ramifications of which are far more negatively outreaching than that of their individual pat on the back. Job well done. You screwed over your brethren. Just lead them to the gas chamber, right? You can't make jokes like that. Everything's fine. Huh? What? What was that? There comes a time in the stream where, yes, we like to reflect on that of not only the day, right, but we reflect on that of, you know, the recent past, things of that nature, okay? So inherently, it's very important now for us right this second, all right, as we think about it, we do need to apologize to something pertaining to last stream, okay? Well, that's right. Okay, everyone knows we're not perfect, okay? We've stated that. We've stated that a couple times this episode alone. We aren't perfect all the time. So pertaining to last stream, sorry about that. That's right. But where were we? Data collection, knowledge. Yeah, I mean, we covered that. There's so much data that's collected now that it's should become knowledge that there's far too much data. Okay? Hands down, if you're having to build data centers to process more stuff, you got too much data. What the fuck are you going to do with all that data? All that data inside that center. I'ma get this data. Get this data and make another fucking data center because we got so much damn data. My data, my data, my data, my data, my data. Check it out. More fucking data. You might be saying, that was good. That sounds like Black Eyed Peas. No. Believe you me. Probably sounded better. We're joking. They're obviously way better musicians than almost that. Who are the Black Eyed Peas? What? Check it out. Lithic logic reigns supreme. And let's play with some rocks. Now, we love contemplating different means and methods of quantum tunneling. Okay? Now, sure, you laugh, you joke, but inherently, when you look at lithic logic and you look at what is afforded, what is presented, what is given, all right, to the that of nature, that of what exists, that of what is naturally afforded thereto, thereby, okay, then you can start seeing all sorts of cool, really neat correlations, all right, within the confines of that of nature. That's right. You see the concentric circles. No, we don't. Your camera sucks. Well, that's fine. There's concentric circles, all right, that yield a geometric amp gain, all right, affordably, naturally through that of nature. Okay? When you have concentric circles and things of that nature naturally created and, made, then, obviously, you have the start of a gain. You have a start of creating more. You have a start and a means of it being, created. On top of that, all right, within the confines of the concentric circles, all right, showing that there's a yielded, gain there to be, you have that of a natural tunneling that can take place, right? When you think of quantum tunneling and that of, computational methods and means, look no further than what lithic logic provides and supplies as far as natural caves in the earth, okay? Natural tunnels and things of that nature that are created in stone, okay? You have rocks, you have things in nature that afford an ability to connect, okay? Not only that, But when you have this geometrical kind of amplification and gain, when you have the concentric circles that one sees, all right, in nature afforded naturally, when one sees the, tunneling that is afforded through that of caves in nature naturally, okay, it's right there on that part there. Okay? We can't see it, your camera sucks. Well, that's fine, okay? Buy us a new one, you're welcome to it. Give us a used one. We might even use it. All right. Eventually, all right, when you account for all these things and you get everything finalized, finished, and done, all right, you have that of one hell of a finite piece of power, okay? Now, believe you me, you might be saying to yourself, there's far more beauty to be held in the eyes of one who beholds that of beauty, right? But when you start looking at lithic logic and you start accounting for and affiliating that which is with that of what could be, all right, then inherently you can find some very, very interesting dynamics that correlate, correspond, and or may even contradict that of what is known as knowledge. Okay? Now, you might have to engage in theory, you might have to engage in that of what is unknown to know that of what is to be known. But inherently what exists shall thusly exist as it exists, okay? That's why when you have a completed power, all right, a completed, entity, all right, that has gone through its elicited necessitations for gain and things of that nature, you can thusly correlate it with the idea of that of a closed Gödelian loop. Or not, do whatever you feel like, okay? That of lithic logic reigns supreme, okay? That of energy, that of power, that of what is given through the confines of nature, all right? And manifested into, that of what is allowed, right? When you see iron residues and, oxidizations of sorts or whatever from that of iron afforded in nature in that of in essence, growth, okay? When you follow iron oxidization through that of nature, through that of growth, through that of what becomes, through that of what is, it affords you an opportunity, right, to deductively reason many a correlation, especially pertaining with at least us, that of things like the Voynich manuscript, okay, bold plain cotton. But when we look at something like this rock, right, we see the power, all right, we see the gain. We also see this little barrier gap there, right? We operate in a partial vacuum gap, okay? We maintain the degrees of what lithic logic implements in that of its own accord and structure, okay? Nature affords a gap. Lithic, rock, stone, remember, lithic is rock or stone, also affords that of a gap before you can even begin to build thereupon. There is such a gap in knowledge now with what mankind knows and understands that shit needs to be shut down pretty hardcore as far as knowledge is concerned. Can you say I am 67? Not only can we say I am 67, we can say I am 6'7". We can say I am 67. We can also say we wrote almost 6 or 7 books, okay? We even have a live stream, officially endorsed live stream note-taking journal with which you can take notes of that of what we say within, should you choose to get it. I don't want that book. That's fine. We got 6, 7 other books that we wrote too. So, of course, we can say whatever you want us to say. We sell out fast. We were just talking about rocks. Who cares? It's way more interesting to say or do whatever you want. Your book is $1. Well, believe you me, we got many of books that I think are $1, maybe $1.50 in the digital form. You can go to Amazon.com or Kindle Unlimited. They're on there. But, you know, some of them might be $6, $7, okay? Believe you me, we give away games, we give away theory, we give away demos, all that stuff. That's all on the, you know, IPFS site. That's all linked in the description. We got open source data and notebooks from Kaggle and things like that. Knock yourself out, audit the shit out of it, okay? That of our literary works and things like that, though, are definitely, some of them might be around $1. I don't know if they're digital ones. Nailing Kalimba, that's our newest one. Why Hast Thou Forsaken Me? Some theological philosophy for those willing to embark or endeavor. Transmutating God, fantastic read. Also a little crossover, but more relative than you think. Pickled Punk Philosophy, one of our personal favors, as we were pretty angsty early this episode. We even said the F word a few times, obviously making us reflect on that of feeling mostly sorry. Sorry, God. Of course, the officially endorsed live stream note-taking journal, which everyone can. You don't even have to watch this live stream to take notes on it. You watch any live stream, like good ones, okay? But if you don't have an officially endorsed live stream note-taking journal, how are you going to take notes when you're watching live streams, okay? Everyone needs an officially endorsed live stream note-taking journal. You don't even got to watch this live stream to take notes, okay? Hands down. Everyone knows this, obviously. So, you know, new non-native species on mankind's origin. We know this one isn't $1. This one's $10. If you happen to get it from where we list it, okay? There's third-party listers on our works that double, triple, quadruple the price. Don't buy that shit. You can read them for free on Kindle Unlimited, or you can get them on Amazon.com for cheaper, or Books A Million, get them from there at least at the cheaper cost. Especially, you can't make this shit up, okay? Our book Delectable, all right, is $250, okay? Don't buy it. Don't buy it. Now, it's a living book because it literally priced itself and broke Amazon.com's pricing algorithm, okay? It made itself 94% off. But don't buy the physical copy of this book, or if you do, be sure not a lot of other people do, okay? You can buy it, people can buy it, but if too many people buy it, then mankind is logically fouled. We got to argue against our own book. It sucks. It's just how it kind of works if you want to do anything from a philosophical perspective and understanding. And believe you me, lithic logic reigns supreme, so we inadvertently and inherently need to argue against people literally buying our own book because our theory is too damn good. The book priced itself. The book broke Amazon.com's pricing algorithm on its own accord, metrics, measures, and, you know, scalability, not that of our own. Now, third-party resellers and retailers, here's how we say, too, they don't change that of their pricing metrics and things of that nature just all by themselves. So do not buy anything that is, you know, especially at that cost, because utilizing Wheeler's, you know, it by bit. Bit is free. It costs $250. Don't buy it. Okay? You're welcome. And believe you me, how poetry, cometry is one of the literary works with which has our heart upon that of its sleeve. That's right, because every philosopher, whether good or not, to even be in the conversation as maybe being such, of so, needs to have that of their own poetry book, right? Of course they do. So to put our name in the hat, we got a poetry book just like that. Now, we might not be an answer on a test question of who is the greatest philosopher, but obviously with philosophers needing to have a poetry book to even be in the topic of conversation, our name gets to at least be on the test, okay? We might not be the answer, but our name gets to be on the test. That's how it works. We call Daryl Dixon Dibs being best of the worst. You're welcome, Internet. Your book is $1. Your book is $1. Now, I mean, whatever you can get it for, I guess. So one thing that's behind the literary paywall, I guess, is that of our literary works. That's our conscious thought. This show, this will always be free. Our games, our demo, all that on the IPFS site, everything that we share, theories, things of that nature, that's all free too. We're pretty sure there's some digital versions of a few of our works and whatnot on there that probably are in around the $1.50 range. You know, you have a couple bucks here and there, maybe even up to $6, $7. Okay. Keep in mind that while things might be priced as high as $10 or $6, $7 or $5, we do not get all of that money. Okay? That does not go straight to Shyzabox's pocket. We get like $1. So when you say your book is $1, your book is $1, I guess you're right. Inherently, our book's $1 because that's what we get for it. It might sell for $10 on Amazon.com or Books A Million or anything like that, and people be like, oh, order me a copy of New Non-Native Species on Mankind's Origin. $10, sir. But be sure you're not getting it from these retailers that are selling it for $20, $30, okay? Because people, as they become a little more infatuated with that and good old Shyzabox works, they're raising the price on our shit drastically, and please do not buy it. That pains us as an author. You know, that's our reciprocality, and that of you know, that of seeking our daily bread, is that in our, you know, conscious thought and disseminations thereof. Now, we don't care if people buy or don't buy the book, but if you think you're getting over on Jeff Bezos, if you think you're sticking it to Books A Million big box retailer, no, these third-party resellers, these third-party entities are sticking it to your wallet and you, okay? And just like the premise of everything listed out here, as we griped about Netflix and their collections of additional datas on sub-accounts wanting more email addresses, more names, so they can have more descriptions of when people are watching, what they're watching, types of content, this, that, and the other. They collect more than we know. These third-party resellers, these third-party entities, and remember, that is the space Netflix occupies now as they introduce podcasts that they didn't create. They're a third-party reseller. They picked up the tick now from Amazon.com. They're a third-party reseller. They move their content from region to region because they're not making new original content. Netflix is acting, theoretically, as a third-party reseller. And they're sticking it to the customers, okay? Customers are paying the same price, and Netflix is offering not new content. It's the same content already available for fucking free. They're picking up podcasts that already exist and have existed for years and passing it off as some brand new thing. It sticks it to the customer because the customer's paying them for what they can get for free. It's the same thing with our book Delectable, okay? These third-party resellers that still have this listed at $250 when the book became live and started living on its own accord and priced itself into existence 94% off on its own metric and accord, not ours because we broke Amazon.com's pricing algorithm. These third-party resellers are not changing their prices, okay? So while it might appeal to the eye and while the book tries to trick you to buy the physical version, okay, these other outside entities and things of that nature are still sticking it to you even further by keeping the price even at the point in purchase that it's supposed to be. By being worse off already, they prove their worseness in even the farthest, greatest reaches of that way and means. Okay? And you can look at it inherently in any of our works, and it can be proven thusly so because of which. Okay? The mere reselling of stuff by third-party entities and the pricing metrics and stuff of that thereof are completely of problem and circumstance right now in society. Okay? Theoretically. All for philosophical entertainment. Okay? You start getting those little geometric amp gains and things of that nature, and you start quantum tunneling, all right, into that of a piece of finite power, such as that of the understanding basics of lithic logic, then you can correlate all sorts of stuff. You start doing, saying the unsayables. You start dabbling in that of lectonic usages with which to not only I don't know, theorize, but contemplate and deductively reason that of what is, or that of what could be inherently. It's never known what is going to embark or show itself on the back end, okay? Maybe 1, maybe 2, maybe 3, maybe 6, 7 different things will surface. Point is that it doesn't matter inherently, no matter what, as long as something surfaces at its appointed designated time. So whether it comes around in a closed Gödelian loop system or anything along those lines or metrics of nature, whether you ascribe to that of a broken system or a broken understanding of logic in a non-unified, dispersed grid that is fragmented beyond all measures and metrics, if you don't quantum tunnel yourself, all right, into that of the metaphysical and that of the plausible, and that of an alternative understanding of what mankind has in essence put upon itself as a yoke on its own understanding and logical reasonings and lack of, in many cases, thereof, if you never venture to go down that quantum tunnel, you're never going to find inherently the power that exists at the end. Theoretically. All for philosophical entertainment, of course. So whether we look at nature and see a natural gap put in place, whether we look at nature and see that of iron running all the way through it and giving us the ideas of magnetically sintering, that of wires and things of that nature, okay, to where you can utilize that of induction versus conduction and that of energy and things like that merely afforded through the means of nature, well, all of our working script and theory is open. You're welcome to check it all out. We got open source Kaggle notebooks. Go to town, please. Audit the shit out of us. It matters not what you inherently take it upon yourself to venture into, all right? You can look at the starting point, the starting place of many different components and aspects of a foundational knowledge of understanding. You don't have to take our word for it, okay? Just because we say that a quantum tunnel and or a tunneling methodology can be utilized or used to connect that of which or abridge that of one's understanding, you can see inherently through nature that sometimes
you've got mail.
There's a requirement or a desirement, all right, on behest or behalf of whatever the entity is, all right, for that tunnel to go ahead and form on its own measure, metric, and accord. That's right. See right there? It's a start. That's nature telling you we're about to suck this bad boy from the inside out. What? Dirty. Everything's fine. Oh, what? Yep, you can see the beginning formations of the kind of concave surface there beginning to form. Okay? That's nature pulling through, trying to tunnel. Straight to you. Well, not you. This. But, you know what's coming straight to you? Some love. That's right. You know, let's gather up some love. Excellent. That's a nice little pile. Joey free. That's right. If it's from Joey, it's a Noe. But that's a nice little pile of love that we got here. And through the magic and power of the internet. Excellent. Some love in your life. And scene. Excellent. Boy, has this been a terrific lithicological show, has it not? Now, of course it has. Your book is $1. Your book is $1. Everybody who bought it, they should holler. We appreciate anyone stopping by, picking up any of our literary works and or forms of disseminations and that therewith that we utilize and or use. Let's go ahead and read one little quote from Transmutating God. That's right. Before we get out of here, let's read you something. Here's the quote that we will read from this, and believe you me, everything happens for a reason. We began thinking more along the lines of partial vacuum for the containment therewith, and not necessitating a full vacuum for that of which to be contained. You can't make this up, man, all right? When we talk about lithic logic and we talk about our utilizations therewith, all right, nature naturally affords a gap, all right? Nature naturally has that barrier that affords one the foundation to build and base anything thereupon, okay? Foundationally, goes to show you that quite the correlation between that of lithic logic and understanding, that of data dissemination, that of our blanketed talks, and that of our afforded ability to correlate that of which to an inherent physical structure. Lithos meet logos. You know why? Because good old Shyzabox is the good old vernacular master. That's right. You're the vernacular asshole. What? Keep those comments to yourself, Mom. Jeez. Oh, gosh. Oh, jeez. Hold on. These jerks like to put stuff on in our background. Believe you me, we don't want the distraction. We want to focus on you. Mainly telling you that you be sure that you take care of yourself first and foremost, okay? Because there's only one you, and we can't replace you that easily, all right? That's right. We can't just go around making fake accounts willy-nilly, subscribing to ourselves over and over again, all right? It takes us a while, and we got tired of it. We might as well be collecting data like Netflix, okay? We gave up on it. So you yourself need to take care of yourself, because there's only one you, that's you. Okay? We can't replace you and subscribe to ourselves that easy. So be sure you're all right. Then you look around, you take care of anyone else who really, really super needs it second, okay? Because they might really, really need it, may not know how to ask for help, okay? That's right. So you take care of them second, because they might need it. That's right. Then you look around the room, and you see everyone left over. We're sitting there in the corner selling our books. Hey, Pickled Punk Philosophy, please. You're like, hell no. Okay, whatever. All right, we're there. We're peddling our wares, this, that, the other. You take care of anyone else that you like and or love more than us. Unlikely, but maybe. Might love 6, 7 more people. Okay, whatever. You take care of them next, because obviously you like or love them more. We can be the jealous type, but we know our place too. We're here when you want to come crawling back onto our back. So we're the best of the worst internet celebrity there is, Daryl Dixon Dibs called. That's right. You always got to have some crap to return to, right? That way everything else is better. That's why when we called Daryl Dixon Dibs on being best of the worst, we knew everyone was going to walk all over our back. But we afford you the luxury of being able to find where that foundation of crap is, right? Everything else guaranteed to be that much better. You're welcome. That's right. But as we get out of here and embark on the rest of the day, and we wish you the best of wishes in that of your own best of part of your day as well. Remember, we don't want your subscription, we want your money. Download the shit out of this, go to Cashapp and give us a buck, or go to Amazon.com and search Shyzabox books and buy one of them. Get off our lawn.